Controller versus processor. Clear wording for AI analytics. Welcome. In data protection, every AI project needs two clear hats, controller and processor. The controller decides the purpose, why data is used, and the means, high-level how. The processor carries out tasks only on the controller's instructions, with no side quests. Why does this matter? Liability follows control. If your contract blurs the roles, responsibility can quietly drift your way. Clear wording keeps audits simple, assigns the right duties, and prevents surprise fines. By the end, you'll spot controller versus processor language instantly and draft clauses that protect your team and your roadmap. Controller language shows decision power. Phrases like, "We determine the purposes of AI analytics," put you in charge of the why. Statements such as, "We decide datasets, features, and retention," show control of the inputs and timeline. If you say, "We set the lawful basis and transparency duties," you accept obligations like notices, records, and user rights handling. All of this signals decision-making power. You're steering the ship, not just rowing. If these lines describe your role, you're a controller or joint controller, and you must own governance, documentation, and risk assessments. Processor wording limits scope and signals service delivery. Examples: "We process only on documented instructions," draws a bright boundary around tasks. "No use for our own purposes" means no data mining, training, or profiling for yourself. "Subprocess only with prior approval" shows you won't expand the data chain without consent. This language signals a limited, service-only role. You follow, you don't decide. It also hints at safeguards like confidentiality, security measures, and audit cooperation. Classic processor obligations that keep trust and compliance intact. When the AI provider is a controller, clauses look like this. Provider acts as independent controller. This confirms separate responsibility. Provider may aggregate and improve models, allows product learning and benchmarking. Provider sets retention and deletion schedules, shows it decides how long to keep data. As controller, the provider needs its own lawful basis and privacy notices, and may need DPIAs, records of processing, and user rights handling. This setup suits platforms offering analytics to many customers and making their own decisions about features and data use. For a service vendor acting only on a client's orders, clauses read, "Vendor acts solely as processor. Purpose is constrained. AI analytics only for client's purposes. Data isolation is explicit. No combining customer data with others. And exit is clean. Delete/return data at project end." Add standard processor duties, security, confidentiality, assistance with requests, and audit rights, and you've defined a tight, defensible role. This model fits delivery teams running analytics pipelines where the client owns the why and the key design decisions. Write guardrails that remove doubt. Purpose limitation. Spell out the analytics goals. E.g., fraud detection for card program X. Instruction scope. Keep instructions written, specific, and revocable, so changes are controlled. Data boundaries. List fields, sources, and identifiers allowed, plus any pseudonymization. Output use. Decide who may reuse insights. Dashboards, model weights, benchmarks, and under what conditions. These lines stop scope creep, preserve privacy, and keep audits predictable, whether you're controller, processor, or both in different features. Watch for wording that flips your role without you noticing. In a processor deal, avoid "may use for improvement." That's a controller signal. In a controller clause, avoid only on client's instructions. That implies processor limits. Be wary of vague terms like analytics is needed or reasonable use. They invite scope creep. And never stay silent on retention or model training. Regulators read silence as consent to nothing, while engineers may assume permission. Clear, specific language prevents accidental non-compliance and awkward renegotiations. Before you sign, 1. Name the role for each party per feature or data flow. 2. Align rights, controllers decide. Processors follow instructions. 3. Match duties. Controllers handle notices. Lawful basis, DPIAs. Processors handle security, assistance, deletions, and returns. 4. If a product mixes uses, split features into separate roles and clauses. The takeaway: write what you actually do and do what you wrote. Clear roles reduce risk, speed procurement, and keep your AI analytics ship sailing straight.